It's moving day today. We're moving about an hour away, so very short trip. But remember a couple videos ago I told you when you're boondocking, you're pretty much at the mercy of nature, whatever happens to be out here. Well, the only thing I'm worried about getting out of the spot is this. There's a bit of an incline, as you can see here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come up this way as much as I can and angle it up rather than going straight up and trying to hook it. Getting down into this spot, we actually bottomed out on the back of the Airstream. Didn't do a lot of damage. The slide out tray where we keep the sewer stuff is a little hard to slide out now because a little bit of a dent happened underneath. Didn't destroy anything, but there's a little bit less give with the slide out tray. Still works, but I'd like to avoid any more damage getting out of this spot. And look behind me, there's a couple other things here that aren't ours. So somebody staying right down the road has been asking us when we're gonna leave. In a nice way. He wasn't being a jerk or anything. He just wants the spot because it is a really nice spot. It's very level. You have a nice view of the trees and mountains. So as soon as we leave, we're putting his stuff right in our spot so nobody else takes it. Once he comes back, he'll move his rig into our site. So just trying to be, I don't know, neighborly, I guess. It works for us. On the way down to our next boondocking site, we're stopping in Haley at the free water and dump station that we showed you before to dump our tanks and take on some water. Thank you, City of Haley. We are at our next boondocking spot. Slightly less scenic than the mountains where we just were right outside Sun Valley, but this site is really close to Crater of the Moon, which is an attraction that's probably 15-20 minutes away from here. It's supposed to look like, well, the moon. It's just kind of barren black land. So we're going to check that out tomorrow. That's why we moved today, so we're nice and close. It'll be a nice easy day trip for us. But easy drive. Once we got out of the last place we were camped at, it was a nice easy drive, but we bottomed out big time coming out of that spot. Our trailer is way too big.
Luckily, we had a neighbor who wanted our spot, and so he was keeping an eye on us because we said he could have it, and he noticed we were having issues and he came over to help. We ended up being okay by stacking blocks on the one side of the Airstream to keep the rear tire higher so we weren't dragging quite so much, but we wouldn't have had enough blocks on our own, so he went over and got his blocks, and together we slowly inched our way up that hill. So at least we got out of there, and thank goodness for the kindness of strangers. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that guy was awesome. He was very helpful, very eager to help, and I found that to be true just in general when you're boondocking or camping and just camping. Everybody around you is really willing to give you a hand, sometimes to a fault. You go out there to work on your truck and you have a wrench in your hand and you'll have like 5 guys around you in like 20 seconds because they all want to help. So usually that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not, but for us it's always been good.
And this time it definitely was.
Yes, this time it definitely was.
Not a bad way to end a day.
A very interesting day.
A very interesting day.
By the way, I've learned that I love this silicone cup. Oh.
What are you having it now?
This is a chocolate caramel porter. So we learned a thing or two.
Yeah.
We learned that well, it was confirmed to us once again that our Airstream is too big for that kind of
For the camping you want to do.
divot in the road, that steep decline going into our spot and then incline back out. We bottomed out big time, as you saw.
Yeah.
So
luckily we did it, got through it without much damage, more than what we had already done. But we know never to do that again with this Airstream.
Yes, we can't go to those kinds of places. No. So you may be wondering, well, why don't you get another Airstream? Well, that's premature, but don't think we haven't been thinking about that.
No. Every time something like this happens, we further our conversation about how this Airstream is probably too big for us. We're not going to change anything in the next little while, but we may start looking at things when we settle back in Tucson, who knows. But then again, we may be in this Airstream this time next year, so no promises, but yeah, for spots like that and some of the other spots that we've wanted to go to, this Airstream is just too long, and we want to continue boondocking like this, so it is something to consider.
Our good friends, The More We Explore, just did this.
Yes! We can't wait to see their new Airstream.
Well, I think pretty much the same reason. The length and the girth of their Airstream just isn't allowing them to get to where they want to be, and we feel their pain.
Yeah, and neither one of us really need the amount of space we have. So for some people, if we were in campgrounds most of the time, this would be perfectly fine. Some campgrounds were still kind of big, but it would be perfectly fine. If we needed more space, if we felt like this was the right amount of space for us, we wouldn't be considering this. We'd probably be considering changing how we camped. But in truth, we don't need this much space. We never have. And we want to camp like we've been camping in boondocking spots, and the Airstream is limiting us at this point. So.
But on the bright side, we're here safely.
Yes.
Girls are out moseying around, and we have a fairly nice view in this field of a campground. But after the fiasco of this morning, I am a-okay with a flat field. Yeah.
There's other campers here, but they're quiet, and yeah, perfectly happy where we are.
All right, that's enough chatting for one video. We're going to, what's it called?
Crater of the Moon.
Crater of the Moon tomorrow.
Possibly going in some caves.
Definitely a video coming from that. But we'll save that for another video because this one's getting quite long. That's it. We're gonna call it a night. And man, that sun's bright.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.